Looking to improve your fitness business while keeping your bottom line in good shape? Let the Gym Administrator help you achieve those goals. With their powerful team of fitness industry professionals at the ready, the Gym Administrator covers a wide range of industry-related products and services that will help you build your business and increase profits. The Gym Administrator works with reliable industry suppliers and vendors that place a heavy emphasis on service, just the way you remember it. Give them a call at 914-494-1066 or visit them on the web at thegymadministrator.com as well as all social media platforms. The Gym Administrator, all your fitness needs under one roof. Scan the barcode at the bottom of the screen to get started today.
M&J Video Games and Collectibles, sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
You mentioned a few times, right? We talked about suicide, and you went this horrific accident, and I could imagine the struggles you had to go with and the positivity you brought out. May I ask, was there a thought process that you felt you let down your entire team because of this accident, and you might have destroyed everything that they were building?
Hands down. First words I uttered out of my mouth to Dusty and Jim Crockett both was how sorry I was. As I'm laying in a bed, in a rotokinetic bed, paralyzed from my neck down, and all I can think about is I had this whole organization built around pushing me to the moon to be their flagship, to take them to the next level in this battle we're in with the WWF. And it took me a long time to get over that piece of it, because I watched from a hospital bed as they were making moves and doing things that I knew in my head were ultimately going to damage the company out of a reaction.
And that's a tremendous burden. There's a lot of burdens, physically, mentally. So you got to give yourself a lot of props for hanging in there and doing that and becoming the man you are today. It's pretty incredible. So I applaud you for that. I definitely applaud you for that. Can I ask you, was that accident preventable?
Absolutely. Hands down. There are very few things in this world that you can categorize as a true accident. Had I been driving slower, it could have still happened, but it wouldn't have been as bad. Had I known to look at my equipment better, I'd have realized that 3/4 of my tire that I couldn't see the way the car was lowered were bald. It only had 8,000 miles on it. And so for the conditions and the weather and everything that was happening, I was driving too fast for the conditions, hands down. Did I constantly go up and down the same stretch of road at much greater rates of speed than I was traveling that night? Absolutely. I was driving slower, much slower than normal, but my much slower than normal was still too fast for those conditions. Had I not been in a little bitty sports car, had I been in a SUV or a big truck, something in which I had headroom and ample protection around me, I wouldn't have got hurt. So there is a whole slew of things, and I've gone on to work in both safety field and quality fields and all kinds of other totally non-related things, where I've had to examine those things and really come to terms with the fact that an accident is like an act of God, like a lightning bolt shooting out and striking a tree that falls on your car. That's an accident that you had no way of foreseeing. But if it's pouring down rain, you need to drive with enough precaution to make sure that if you're going, what appears to be a shallow puddle that may cause you to hydroplane, that you got a reasonable chance of coming out of it in one piece.
You mentioned Dark Side of the Ring before. And look, as a wrestling fan, I think we all enjoy Dark Side of the Ring to a certain point, but in some points I feel like they kind of maybe twist your words or, kind of put things in place. I'm not saying they did that with you, but the one thing I found interesting, and I wanted to know what you were thinking was you had this accident, right? And you're married to your first wife, and you're going through these struggles, and then she's by your side trying to help mend you through. And then later on in the show you say, well, I continued to just have extramarital affairs, do that
No,
type.
that she said that.
She did. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So I forgot that.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. How did that make you feel?
The relationship with her was obviously damaged before all this took place. And after the fact and all the things and whatnot, when you're in the throes of the emotion of the struggle, I was 5 months in a hospital. 5 months. And when all the lights come off and you're no longer in the movie, in all the drama and all the excitement, and you come back head to head and you're looking at your other eyeball to eyeball and trying to decide whether you really even want to be around this particular person or not, things happen. And it happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And that everyone that doesn't even come from the lifestyle that I came from. And I think the picture was painted a little different from her perspective, because I think a lot of things came to light to her during that whole time that I was in the hospital. And then we came out and we're not, on top of the world anymore, where they don't have the bright future we once had. I think there was a lot of, where the bitterness, maybe the depression, the this, to that, the other, all played into those scenarios. And that's really what the rest of the story that probably wasn't portrayed real well in that portion of it. But I would never be objectionable to her saying the way it made her feel, because truly she was hurt by the things that happened.
And to be honest, I think it's probably hard for her. Look, you're this good-looking guy, super famous. There probably had to be a lot of pressures on her even before your accident, and then to add the accident on, it's
hands
10
down.
times more, right?
Yeah, you can't serve two masters. And that old rock and roll song about a road ain't no place to raise a family. With a wrestling business, is no place to be committed in to anything but the thing that you're most passionate about. And what I was most passionate about was being in the industry and all the things that came along with that. And the road life, being on the road 30 and 40, 60 days at a time, in those environments was not conducive to trying to keep anything together in the way of a long distance relationship. Just wasn't practical. And to tip the whole thing off to the worst it possibly could have been, the moment I got married and came back after the break to the wrestling industry, Bill Watts takes my brand new bride off to the side and says, "Oh, by the way, we're now pushing him as a sex symbol, and you're no longer allowed at any of the buildings anywhere
Wow.
you go." Where she once traveled with me and went places occasionally and all this stuff, that was all now off limits. So you had to make choices, and some of them aren't pretty, and some of those are preventable, but you would not be able to survive in that fishbowl and not play the part. And it was not just an on-camera role back then. It was the day before kayfabe was broke. If you were that character, you were that character.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, look, you fall in love, you want to get married, right? That's how we're taught, the natural thing to happen. But at that point, you're not Magnum T.A. and all of a sudden